live in Guilderland, have 2 children, a husband, a cat, a dog. I'm a retired professional with AT&T. I worked in their international marketing division for about 20 years and traveled all over the world helping to set up phone service. This was back in the 70s and 80s when, internationally phone service wasn't quite there yet. We were really excited when we moved here because we heard there was a Y opening up. And we didn't have that in New Jersey. There really wasn't one very close. You'd have to go miles, So I think we were one of the first families to join, actually. Mm-hmm. What really prompted us joining as a family was when we bought our house, it came with a pool, which we really weren't looking for, but said, you know what, if we're going to stay here and keep the pool, I want to make sure the children learn how to swim and learn the right way. So I think we enrolled them right away in the swimming program here, and they went all the way through. So it was a great ease, off our minds that they're learning correctly and having fun. And while they were swimming, then I would swim with them and got involved with that. And my husband would go upstairs and work on the weight machines and whatnot. So it was a great resource. We were so glad, to have that. I was born with a congenital heart defect, and when I was young, I just struggled doing everything in terms of running and walking, and no one really knew that what I had, and at the time they just couldn't diagnose it. But as I grew older and realized I really need to take charge of my health and do what I can to get myself fit, I saw at the Y that the more I did, the more I could do, and the better I felt. And so I started with the weights, just walking, then got into, of course, the swimming, which I loved. And I remember seeing the first indoor triathlon notice and saying, oh, I could never do that. And I didn't sign up. I said, well, maybe next year. And then the next year it came along, and it was at the time when my son was going for his Eagle Scout. The last kink in the ointment was the personal fitness badge, and he just didn't want to do it. Said, hey, you know what, I'll make a deal. I'll sign up for the indoor triathlon. You can sign up, we'll do it as a team. And we did it. I couldn't believe I actually accomplished that. And that meant a lot to, be able to do that. So, but, I didn't feel uncomfortable. I said, the Y is a place everyone succeeds. It doesn't matter. Your only competition is yourself, and just to get done with it, I was thrilled. For me, it increased my motivation, and it made me feel part of something bigger, that, it's about my health and doing things for me, but that other people really care, and it's not just a place where, they come in and punch a clock and go, that, they want to see you succeed too. And just having that outside network, we all need that, just someone else in our corner, pushing you on and telling you could do it, because, sometimes family will tell you that stuff even though that's their job, but to have someone else give you that encouragement. And I remember, when I was up in Boston seeing my cardiologist, she couldn't believe all the things I had done. She said, you've actually done that? I said, yep. So she was like, boy, you've come a long way. So still a work in progress, but I feel like I've really accomplished more than I thought I could. The next step for me, I actually love to walk a half marathon. I don't know if but I'm going to say it, I think I can do it with the training and support. And I said, if I could do that indoor triathlon, I really think I can, succeed at anything. And to me, it's not important whether I come in first or last, but just to finish. And that's the nice thing about here. People support you whether you're first or last. And even the other, I'll use the term competitors, but maybe participant is a better word. They encourage you too, and say, oh, you did great out there, or whatever, and that's really a nice supportive thing. People have become not only more health conscious, but for looking for safe environments to come as a family and to do things together. And one thing I noticed about this area, I grew up in Massachusetts, and you had, like the little town center you could walk to and do things, and you really don't have that here. So I almost think like the Y takes that place, if you will. They offer the nutrition programs, the wellness programs, programs for seniors, you know, the daycare, after school. So it's really become, I think, a cornerstone in the community. I think it's really not only changed my health, but changed my outlook in terms of goal setting, and that anything I set out to do, I think because of the experience here, I feel like I can accomplish. And I've never been one to shy from goals. You know, I was one of the first, actually I was one of the first women accepted into the Naval Academy, but because of my heart condition, but you know, that wasn't something I had control over. But you know, I went through college, 3 master's degrees, different travels all over the world, but this has just given me a whole other component to the way I live, which I think has been invaluable. I mean, it's not just coming in here and working out, because there's tons of places you can do that, but just the support here, the concern, just the variety of ways you can challenge yourself. And just when you've reached a level, there's always another step, if you're willing to take it, so, which I think is great, you know. And it's a place even beginners, I think, can shine. I mean, if someone told me 5 years ago I'd be doing an indoor triathlon, I would have told them they were off their rocker. You know, what are you smoking over there? But, you know, it's just so many different things you can do socially, health-wise here, which I think is wonderful. And I love volunteering here, too. I mean, I volunteer at the Pine Bush Triathlon, and you know what really impressed me was so many people after doing that, which has to be grueling, that always make a point to thank me, say thanks for volunteering. I mean, you don't see that everywhere, and that speaks, I think, to the caliber of the people here, and the community here as well.